Hello everyone, my name is Richie and welcome back to another video. Today join me for a first look at the brand new Cargo Line Volume 3 Intermodal. So here we go, this is the third instalment of Skyhook Games' Cargo Line series, which seems to be quite a popular series amongst people. I recently picked up Cargo Line Volume 2 and I quite enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to giving this a go. So what we're going to do today is we're going to jump into the main menu and I'm going to show you what new timetabled services and scenarios you get with this pack, and then we're going to drive a freight service along the West Coast Main Line South, because why not? So let's jump into it. Before we do though, I want to say a massive thank you to Dovetail Games for providing a game key to show this off to you. So let's jump into the main menu and have a look at Cargo Line Volume 3. So we're here in the main menu, and the two routes that the Cargo Line Volume 3 brings new services and scenarios to is the West Coast Main Line South and the East Coast Main Line. Now I did initially think this was coming to the Midland Main Line as well, but I think it only subs in for the existing intermodal services. There's no new scenarios or anything with that. So interestingly, it just comes to East Coast Main Line and the West Coast Main Line South. So if we jump into the East Coast Main Line, you can see we've now got 417 services, and that's because there's a new timetable tab, the intermodal one. So if we jump into that and go across to the 66, you can see it's the DB66 that does this. I think this is the one that comes with the pack. You jump into that, and then you've got some services that are called FCA, like this one here, for example. They're the ones that are new to the route or have been reworked to include the new intermodal coaches. As for scenarios, you can see we've now got 22 scenarios, because obviously the recently released 47484 brought 10. So there's plenty of scenarios on here, and they're right at the bottom. So the Cargo Line ones are these three here, the Felixstowe to Leeds, Tinsley Yard to Ripple Lane, and Felixstowe to Mossborough. Jumping into the West Coast Main Line South, you can see we've got a new timetable tab, which is intermodal as well. And then if we go across to the 66, again, you've got some FCA ones. So I think it adds another 12 services, or again, it just reworks the existing intermodal services. Again, jumping into the scenarios, we've got 14. If we go right to the bottom, you can see there's some new ones there, the Cargo Line ones there. You've got a couple of nice ones there, about an hour long one, so not as long as the East Coast Main Line ones, but still pretty lengthy. And that's pretty much what you get with the Cargo Line Volume 3. So to be fair, it does bring in quite a few bits of gameplay across the West Coast Main Line South and East Coast Main Line. So it looks like it's going to be pretty interesting. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into a freight service and drive it for around about 10 minutes on the West Coast Main Line South and have a little look at the new intermodal coaches. So let's do it. So here we go. I've jumped into 4M41 London Gateway to Lawley Street. So let's get started and get ourselves set up, shall we? Right, how do you set up a Class 66 now? So I think you put the reverser in there and you put that into forwards. You make sure that all these tabs are on, which they are, and then you turn the headlights on, which is that there. And then you just need to release your brakes a little bit. Obviously we've got a red, so we're not going to fully release them because otherwise we'll spad. So here is the DB66, which I believe we first saw with East Coastway, but it's been brought back in for this, which looks very, very nice. And these are the new intermodal coaches. There you go. You can see they're all different. I think it's these ones that are new. They look very cool. I'll tell you something, this is incredibly long. Right, we can get going in a second, but the first thing I want to show you is this, the new 20-foot containers, which are very short. You can see they're a bit smaller. So we've kind of got a different range of like sizes of containers, which is very nice. And I think this is sort of like randomly generating as well. So that's why they've gone through and reworked it. You can obviously see some stuff's empty as well. So you've got plenty of wagons on this as well. Very nice. Right, so let's get the brakes released and get going, shall we? And we'll drive this up to maybe Harrow. Not too far because it's a freight service and it'll take all day. But yeah, that's what you get with this. Right, so let's drive it, shall we? So let's release the brakes all the way to 5. Lovely stuff. There we go. And let's start applying some power, shall we? So let's do it. Let's do it. Right then, we're on the move. Very slowly because this is quite a heavy train. So let's go. Slowly build up the power. When you've got a heavy train, you don't want to full beans it because you'll just slip. So off we go. Right, slowly does it. We only need to go 10 mile an hour. So let's get the throttle off there. Very nice. And we'll roll onto the main line. And then we can full beans it up to 75 mile an hour. But this looks really, really nice. Off it goes. Got a Pendolino going past there. Tones to the Pendolino. How you doing, Pendolino? Hope you're doing well. Here it goes. We're going on to the slow lines, I believe. So we won't be holding up any 350s or anything today, hopefully. What we'll do is we'll stand at the top of this container and we'll watch the other containers go past, shall we? Very slowly. It's very cool looking. I mean, one thing I suppose you can test is like whether it is actually randomly generating, because you can see that there's a lot of empty coaches. So hopefully, you know, if you was to jump into this again, it will just randomly generate a bunch of different containers. There's one of the small ones there, which look quite cool, to be fair. And off they go. We've got some yellow ones, got some green ones, got some maroon looking ones as well. So it is quite cool, to be fair, because you do have a nice range of wagons and containers, and obviously all different shapes and sizes. So it kind of adds that little bit more immersion, doesn't it? Because you've got all these different types of wagons and stuff carrying all sorts of different bits and bobs. Right, and as we roll through Wembley Central, we should be able to get going any second now, up to 75. I want to full beans it and proper listen to the 66. There we go, got a 25 limit, let's go. Full beans, let's go. Here you go, now you're talking. Come on, full thrash out of Wembley Central. Very nice indeed. So this service would go all the way up to Milton Keynes, 39 miles. So if you want to do that, you go for it. I don't really do much freight stuff. Freight stuff isn't really my cup of tea. We can also get up to 75 mile an hour. Let's go. Come on, full beans. I mean, naturally, because it's quite a heavy train, it's not going to get up to 75 very quickly. I mean, we've just had a Pendolino fly past and leave us in the dust. But come on, up to 75. We'll try and at least get to 40. One thing that's quite cool about it is that it's incredibly lengthy. It's a very long train, so it's quite nice to have a different variation of freight services for sure. Let's get a little flyby shot, shall we, as it goes past? Off you go. A couple of tones, got a 72 stock going past there as well. Very nice indeed. There it goes, the intermodal coaches and the 72 stock into that platform over there. So, to be fair, it's not a bad little DLC. Obviously, I've got a certain opinion with gameplay packs. I'm usually quite mixed on them. The recent Cargo Line Volume 2 I really liked because of how busy it made the Midland Main Line. So I was quite impressed with that. And to be fair, I've not given this enough of a go to sort of see the benefits of it, but it's very cool to see different types of containers and stuff. I suppose the only sort of critique I've got is that it uses the 66 again. I know a lot of people have got a certain opinion of the 66, so it would have been nice to see maybe a different type of freight wagon for sure. But I mean, the 66 is universal. You would see it all across the UK, so it's the most applicable. I mean, to be fair, this is quite a cool little shot, isn't it? Seeing all the different wagons and all the different colours. So it's very cool that you get a different sort of variation in intermodal services. And obviously, if you like your scenarios and stuff like that, then it's perfect for you because, you know, I'm not really scenario focused, but if you like that sort of stuff, then go for it. Do you know what? I've not even been focusing. Here's Harrow and Willesden, so we're definitely not going to slow down now. So we'll just keep going to Watford and at least try and get to 75 mile an hour. So let's go as we fly through Watford here. Not Watford, Harrow and Willesden. Got a 710 there, very nice. So add some nice service variety freight-wise to the West Coast Main Line South. So if, like I say, if you like your freight and you like West Coast Main Line South and East Coast Main Line, then yeah, you'll enjoy this. I was going to say we're racing the 710, but the 710's only subject to 45 mile an hour, so we can leave it in the dust. A freight service going faster than an EMU, I never thought I'd see it. I suppose another little thing with this as well is that it kind of encourages you to play the freight services on the West Coast Main Line. So, you know, normally when I jump into the West Coast Main Line, I jump straight into a 390 or a 350 or whatever. So, to be fair, you know, if you want something to kind of give you something to run freight-wise on the route, then certainly pick it up and give it a go. Going past another station there, and I think that's Carpenter's Park, which is a really good station to train spot from because, like, obviously got a Pendolino flying past here, so if we was to go over to that station, we've got the freight service going past there, and then in a minute, there you go, there's the Pendolino. So if you want to do some virtual train spotting, do it there. Right, so we're not too far away from Bushy, so once we get to Bushy, I'll start thinking about slowing down into Watford, so I'll stop there and I'll give you my final thoughts. But let me know in the comments what you think about this, and if we were to see any reworked freight loco that we already have in Train Sim World, i.e. like the 45s or the 37s or whatever else, what would you want to see reworked and brought into a cargo line pack? Because it'd be interesting, because I don't know too much about freight. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, and also let me know in the comments what you think about this DLC. I tell you what, there's plenty of trains here, isn't there? A Pendolino's just gone through, got a freight train, a 350, got a 710 as well, so there's plenty of stuff going on here. Right then, as we approach into Watford Junction, I've just applied some brakes, but we've slowed right down there, so we need to apply some more power so that we can have a nice gentle stop into Watford Junction. Come on, more power, more beans. Oh no, we've slowed right down there. I didn't mean to do that. I applied far too many brakes. Right, more beans please. Right, here we go, we're starting to apply some more power there. We've got a Pendolino. Hello Pendolino. There's plenty of 390s on this route, isn't there? I've seen, what, 4 services in the last 10 minutes? Plenty of stuff. Well, there goes a 377. There you go. Very cool seeing southern services north of London. Very interesting. So here we are rolling into Watford Junction, which obviously if you used to do the service properly, you just go straight through at 75 up towards Milton Keynes, but we're slowing down so I can do a bit of an outro and give you my final thoughts. And to be fair, I've quite enjoyed this. I think it's pretty decent. Right then, let's apply some initial brakes, shall we? 4.5 brakes so we can slow nice and gently here for Watford Junction. Right then, there we go, we're slowing down nicely there, and we've come to a stop. And there we go, that was a first look at the Cargo Line Volume 3 Intermodal. To be fair, it's not too bad. It's probably not my favourite of the Cargo Line packs. I think the aggregates one was quite good because it added quite a lot to Midland Main Line. We're also rolling back, so we need to apply some more brakes. Oh, I panicked a bit then, I thought we were going to roll away. But yeah, it's not too bad. Obviously, it adds a few scenarios if you like that sort of stuff, and it adds a few timetabled services as well, as we've got a Pendolino going past there. But yeah, a lot of you seem to like the Cargo Line pack, so let me know in the comments what's your thoughts. If you're thinking of picking this up, it's £9.99. And it's a good bit of fun, adds a few scenarios and plenty of timetabled services as well. So now that we're safely here at Watford Junction, I'm going to leave that video there. So thank you all for watching this video. I've been Richie and I'll hopefully see you all next time. Bye bye.